What's up, all my epic gamers? I just got back from seeing the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and what did I think of it? It was alright.
Cookie Crisp.
Okay, well, I like to say a little bit more than just that. I went into this movie with decently high expectations. I already kind of knew that it wasn't going to be a very good Galaxy adaptation because, I mean, barely anything Galaxy related was even in the trailers. Rosalina didn't have that much of a focus, which also kind of had me worried. Yet despite all that, I went in expecting a fun little Mario adventure with maybe a couple Galaxy things here and there. And I was actually pretty spot on with that assumption. This movie is very fun. The references especially, they were turned up to like 11 and I absolutely ate it up. Which unfortunately brings me to my first problem with the movie. This movie genuinely moves at a literal breakneck pace. Well, at least the second half does. The first half of the movie is honestly paced pretty well. There's some nice quiet moments, some nice character interactions, and most importantly, Fox freaking McCloud. He is so cool. He has absolutely no reason to be in this movie, but dang it, I'm so glad they put him in here. I love his little 2D montage he had when he was like explaining his story and stuff. I just wish so bad that they kept his inclusion a secret, because I would have absolutely lost it in the theater, dude.
Star Fox? They invited Star Fox?
I also like the appearances of other characters like Wart, Mauser, and Birdo in this cool anti-gravity casino. That was a really fun sequence. They also end up encountering the T-Rex from Mario Odyssey, which was kind of random, but honestly still a pretty fun sequence. Although I have to admit, it kind of just feels like they're trying to stuff as many Mario references as they possibly can in such a short amount of time. There's literally a part where Mario and Luigi turned into babies using the powers of the Super Scope. Yes, that's not a joke. And they just turned back to normal after like 2 minutes. Like, what even was the point of that? It's pretty much just a glorified Yoshi's Island reference. It gets to the point where it honestly just feels like they're throwing references at you with no rhyme or reason. Like, they're not relevant to the plot. They kind of just happen. It's cool to see them. Like, I like seeing all these characters on the big screen, but it's just like, what's the point? When Luigi was using Junior's paintbrush and Mr. Game & Watch popped up, I literally yelled out, Mr. Game & Watch, like he was physically coming out of the screen. Apparently my brother Wordy saw Samus's ship or whatever, but I was frankly too busy thinking about Fox McCloud. He's just so cool. And speaking of that, I guess I should get to the next thing I want to talk about. The characters. They're okay.
Do a barrel roll.
These versions of the Mario cast genuinely get no development in this movie, like, at all. Which I would honestly be fine with if they had nice character interactions, which they kinda do, but a lot of the time it kind of feels like they're just going through the motions. One of my favorite parts of the first movie was Mario and Luigi's relationship, so I'm kind of disappointed that we really didn't get to see much of it here. Dude, I can't believe we live in a timeline where Donald freaking Glover is Yoshi.
Mama Luigi?
And this isn't Donald Glover just doing this to get a big fat paycheck either. This is some real dedication. He probably manifested into Yoshi in the recording booth. I liked Yoshi in this. He was cool and cute and silly. But you know who's cooler?
Dude, shut the hell up!
One of the definite highlights of the movie for me were the scenes with Bowser and Bowser Jr. Even though Bowser just kind of decides to be evil again, like there's not even really a scene with him choosing to be bad again. He kind of just does it. Regardless, the scenes with him and Jr. are honestly pretty cute and charming. Also, I didn't notice this until the movie was over, but during a puppet show Bowser was doing for Jr., I swear he had 3 puppets of Junior Kamek and a Koopa Troopa. Nintendo, why would you do this?
Chicken jockey!
But undoubtedly, the character they did the absolute dirtiest was Rosalina. As I said at the beginning, Rosalina wasn't very prominently featured in the trailers, but I honestly just chalked it up to being simply bad marketing at first. And besides, even if she isn't the main character, she's gotta have like 30 something minutes of screen time in this hour and 30-minute movie, right? Try 10. Rosalina, a character who was more or less the main focus of the game they're trying to adapt, does less in this movie than the Mr. Game & Watch cameo. And the worst part is they just completely retconned her backstory to make her Peach's sister. Do you guys realize how dumb that sounds? They literally made Rosalina's storybook real in real life for like $50, just to not even adapt it correctly. Are you kidding me, Nintendo? And that brings me to my next point. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is not a very good Galaxy movie. It's a halfway decent Mario movie, sure, but there's not many elements from Galaxy at play here. There's elements from the games which are cool, don't get me wrong, and they do include a few locations from the games, but in doing so, I kind of feel like they forgot what made those original games so special. Sure, they can be bombastic, larger-than-life experiences, but they're also atmospheric, soothing, and heck, even a little lonely. And that's what so many other people, including myself, love about these games. And that kind of gets lost in translation when you're trying to cram as much Mario stuff as you possibly can, to the point where you probably should have just called it Super Mario Bros. Movie 2 if anything. And again, I'm not saying this movie's bad. I did enjoy it, but I would have enjoyed it more if it handled the source material with more respect. Basically what I'm saying is, if you're gonna make a Mario Galaxy movie, then commit to making it a Mario Galaxy movie. You can still have Yoshi and Fox and Bowser Jr. But the main heart and soul of the movie needs to be Galaxy. Something this movie just unfortunately didn't really accomplish all that well. With that being said, holy crap! What? The way I've heard people talk about this movie, it's like it killed their grandma or something. It's fine if you don't like the movie, but it's not worse than AI, buddy. Not only is that disrespectful to all the humans that worked on this movie, but you're also comparing it to this. I literally saw a review where they said they experienced physical discomfort during the movie and had to stab themselves in the hand with a pen just to get through it. Bro inflicted self-harm on themselves over Mario. Alright. There's one last thing I wanted to mention, something I genuinely could not get out of my head after seeing the movie. They unironically try to have a so retro moment like 5 separate times. There's a point in this movie where, spoiler alert, Bowser falls into the lava, and any emotional weight this scene could have had just gets completely ruined because they cut to the same thing happening, now in sprite form. And later on, they have a part where the castle is gone because it got destroyed, which is a pretty funny moment, but I distinctly remember thinking they were gonna have a building montage with "We Built This City" playing in the background, but no, they just have all the characters in crappy sprite art fixing the castle, and then the movie just ends. Why did you do this, Illumination? You could have had a perfectly fine scene, which wouldn't have helped the ending from feeling so abrupt, but still, you could have had a perfectly fine animated scene, but you just had to ruin it by making so retro, like that hasn't been done a million times before already. I don't understand it. Am I taking crazy pills or something?
I always thought I might be bad.
I know I came off as pretty negative in this review, but I really do think there's some good fun to be had here. The animation's great, the score is really great, I genuinely got a little emotional there. The voice acting was good, mostly, except for Chris Pratt. Also, it's probably just me, but Benny Safdie low-key sounds like Logan 30 Acre. Am I going crazy or something?
Oh, happiness and sunshine and fun and woo!
If you're a Mario or Nintendo fan like myself, you'll probably at least find it fun. At its worst, it's a slightly above average kids movie that just doesn't adapt these games very well. I can see fragments of a great movie underneath, but as it stands, I'll be giving it a light 6 out of 10. Could have been worse, but could have been much, much better. Hey, wait a minute. I just realized they didn't even put the cool chimp in. You know what? I take back every good thing I've said about this movie. I'm now giving it a 0 out of 10. This is worse than AI. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. The Nintendo Cinematic Universe is dead.
Cookie Crisp. Cookie Crisp. Ba 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 ba. I'm Cookie Crisp.
Wait, that's McDonald's.
I'm cuckoo for Cookie Crisp.
It's Cocoa Puffs.
They're magically delicious.
That's Lucky Charms.
They're magically delicious.
Why